would say. I'm getting closer to my dreams.
That's what's up, man. That's cool. I had heard that because just recently when I was doing the strike research, just listening to daily videos of the strike. Shout out Status Cool.
Right.
They've been covering this channel on YouTube. They just be covering like this show. They cover the strike just live. This lady Tina, she just be out there like
status quo.
She be out there on the ones and twos. Like she out there on the ones and twos. Tough. And she took a day off yesterday. I was like, where's Tina at? So anyway, I've been listening to them, listen to a bunch of other YouTube videos, and I found out the writers came to a conclusion this week. So I was like, oh man, that means that Dell time is good. He don't got to eat cat food under the freeway. They was gonna start calling you Meow Mix Montague out here. Facts. So
they was already calling me that. I was going to the gym mad frustrated, just losing my shit. You start playing with different kind of intensity.
Hey man, that might be what you need. When they said Kevin Garnett did his workout for the NBA in flip flops, didn't even have no shoes, just was in there barefoot, right. One flip flop, and on a court that was covered with glass, hot glass at that. It's just like the movie. It's just like the movie Hustle, Dale.
Right.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh yeah, this guy always going back.
I don't know if you've seen it. But it's like the movie Hustle. So when the man's anyway, you got to see it. It's one of the best.
Bro, I put you on that movie.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but yeah, man. Listen, me and About That Time figured that while it's strike season, if you will, and everyone's coming together, we want to go ahead and share some of our experiences working inside of union shops. Share with y'all some of y'all the good, the bad, and I mean some of the ugly, if you will. For the most part, I hear a lot of people talk about their opinions on union shops, but a lot of the negative I hear isn't from anyone that's ever worked in a union. I'll be hearing people just talk about it, but it sounds like they've been the type that's been, I don't know, working in an office for 25 years, which is cool. Or they've been working at, I don't know, Applebee's for 10 years, like places that ain't unionized, but they work and they see TV and be like, why are they doing that? But I think there's some reasoning behind it. And I think that you and I can go ahead and share some of our experiences. What I did want to mention is that while the United Auto Workers are on strike, the Southwest and United Pilots and Flight Attendants, they collectively decided they voted for a strike just recently. And the Culinary Workers Union of Nevada Hotel and Resorts, they recently decided this week that they may go on a strike as well. So it's getting popping out here. And for those of y'all that may not be aware, let me explain this, man. They doing the coldest strike for the UNA Auto Workers. Let me explain how this works. It's the first time all big three is going on strike, right? So you got Ford, and you got GM, you got Stellantis. Y'all don't know what Stellantis is. That's old school Chrysler or whatever, right? And since it's the first time all three of them are going on strike, they doing a stand-up strike. What does that mean? I'll explain. Instead of them all just saying they're not going to play, like an NBA strike or NFL strike, like, hey, we just not going to play. Ain't no games going to be played. What they doing instead is they just going different locations to go on a strike at different times because they got to pay strike pay, which is $500 a week. So instead of having everybody stop working at once, they just randomly stop working at certain places. So the president of the thing, Sean Fain, is like, all right, this Friday, 38,000 of y'all, get up. This Friday, y'all, no more movement. All right, 20,000 parts department, get up. So nobody knows what's playing. It would be like this if the NFL was like, all right, we going on strike. We doing a stand-up strike. What does that mean? Well, this weekend, the Browns and Dolphins are going to play. But next weekend, who knows?
Right.
So at that point, it's wild because if you think about it from that standpoint, it's like the NFL don't know where to get ready for particular games at. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, where do we send Fox News in them? I don't know. We don't know yet. Who knows what's going to happen? So they have they doing this scenario where just the Friday before yesterday, they just all the parts places went on strike. So if you're trying to get a part, it's a wrap for you. Trying to get an engine, it's a wrap for you. And then just yesterday, 6,000 more people went on strike. As of right now, I gather the total is 25,000 people that are just on strike. So shout out to them, man, for doing what it is that they need to do, man. Dale, let me ask you about Dale time. What was your favorite union job that you had?
Ooh, that's a good one. I will say probably the grocery industry. I felt like working in the grocery industry for places like Rayleigh's or working for places like Winco and things like that, the way the strike can help you, especially when they have the right organization behind them as far as the union, the people who come together to actually create the union, when they got the right resources behind them, it can be very beneficial to the employee. because of course, like you get better benefits, you get better pay. So now you're not necessarily trying to climb over each other to try to get like this better pay and this better pay. And then learning that early on, because when I worked in grocery stores, I worked at a young age. I worked in like, my early 20s, of course, like my early teens as well. So working in a grocery store and having that kind of security and having that kind of like balance, it almost makes you start to look for those kind of benefits when you go to your next job. So then you start looking for things like that in banking. So yeah, no, definitely the grocery stores was probably my favorite.
Okay, mine was probably AT&T because I think is a AT&T maybe AT&T is my only direct experience like paying dues and being involved. The cold part was I had also it's CWA, it's a communications workers agency association, CWA. And the cold part, bro, was I worked at AT&T when I wasn't, and I worked at Verizon when I was not.
Yeah.
So, and I saw how the union worked for those that wasn't like in it, right? Because at AT&T, I got kind of spoiled because we had our sick days were set up in like a particular way where, where the way the point system worked for attendance, if you called in sick one time and got 1 point, if you get a point, right, you can call out 3 whole days after that. So if you're gonna be gone, and a lot of us didn't find out till like later till one dude that know all the union tricks found it out. Because you calling sick and get a point, it's like, yo, I already got 1 point. So I'm gonna take the rest of these 2 days off. It's like the thing where if you're over 15 minutes late at AT&T, it counts as a quarter point.
Yeah.
Up to like 2 hours. So it's like, bro, I might as well just be
2 hours late at that moment. Yeah.
So the thing that got me though was when I went to Verizon, I got hired as Verizon as a temporary employee in a call center. And what had happened was once they gave all of us people out of training, unless they gave us our schedules, some of us ended up with dope schedules, like dope ones, right? We ended up, a couple of us ended up getting Monday through Friday, 2 to 10.
Yeah.
Right. Picking up the phone after 6 o'clock, ain't nobody calling anyway. The union, and then after like 3 months there, the union got together and was like, "Hey, we're gonna do a schedule change thing." I was like, how often do y'all do this? Every 3 months? Like, no, we haven't done it in like a year and a half. Like, bro, y'all doing this shit because y'all done hired 50 temp employees with dope schedules. Yo, they ran that schedule thing, bro. Your boy had Tuesday, Thursday off, working 10 to 7. Like, bro. So but respect to the union though for looking out for their people, because I mean I get it, I understand it. So I do think there are some upsides to it, the way that people get protected. However, sometimes I do think that in certain times people aren't like educated as much on it, right? Like in passing, I think it's more when you work at a grocery store, for example. I would assume that because your staff is larger, more people know about what's happening. At AT&T, where we were at, a bit for our store to be so small, not a lot of people knew what was going on because we're sales reps. We don't really know what's happening. So by the time people needed the union, they was calling too late. Yeah. It was like, you were supposed to call me earlier to get this documented, right? Like, you're not supposed to be, it's too late. Like, you done stomped out your manager and you done stole $50 from the till. We could protect you. But it looks like 2 days ago, you used up all your late points.
Yeah, all the odds are against you.
So you got a pattern now, right?
Facts.
So yeah, man, I just think sometimes it was like the lack of education was working against certain people at times. But all in all, I thought that was cool. What would you say was like your least favorite part?
I mean, dues. I mean, you're paying additional money for stuff. So then it's like, if you never have to use it, and if you just an outstanding employee, it's almost like, bro, this shit is worthless. Like, because you're not really seeing no benefit. Like, there's been no pay raise, no nothing like that, and there's no activity. It's almost like having home association fees and just never having no kind of like no use for them. So it's like, bro, I'm paying y'all every fucking month for this shit, and like nothing's happening. It's insurance, but
yeah.
So.
No, for ours, I think the dope thing about it was like the kicker was this: we got paid extra on Sunday. So because we got paid time and a half, whatever the dues was, which wasn't a lot, was offset by part of the payment from like Sunday or whatever. So since we got time and a half Sunday, making $16 an hour. We get time and a half. That's $24 on Sunday.
I do remember that.
And it was wild because for me, it was wild, bro, to get hired there at 23 years old because of the union. We had got the first 2 weeks I was there, we had got like a pay rate. We got a like some type of union raise, and we got a cost of living adjustment. And I was like, bro, I got hired at 1185. Why am I making 13 just off rip? Like, what's going on? I'm getting money out here. And then, but the cold part is, whenever they got to do that, whenever they make certain concessions, of course, the company is going to do what they got to do on the back end for your commissions, right? So eventually that money got to come from somewhere. So similarly to, like, I think with the union auto workers, they want to do a thing where people can be converted from temp after 90 days. Because as of right now, they bring you on as a temp. You just work, like waiting on them to convert you. And then sometimes people are a temp for 2 years and they get let go and get put back on and got to start their temp stuff all over again.
Exactly.
The thing is, when you are a temp, though, some of them make more money hourly because they're temps and they don't get particular benefits. And then when they get hired on, they lose some of the dough, but they get better benefits. So what they're trying to do is bring on temps faster. The problem with that is, if they got temps that's working there for like 5 years straight and you would temp, and like giving you particular benefits, and they paying you like a little bit more, and they got to get rid of that. If they start having to hire temps after 90 days, they're going to hire less people.
Yeah. Because
they're going to be like, we can't keep a temp on for 2 years, so we're going to keep them for 60 days and just recycle them, or y'all just going to have less help. Right? So it's always like particular concessions. It's going to be like it's almost, I respect it, and it's almost like, no, I want them to have what I have. Okay, bet they're gonna have what you have, all right. Yeah. Hey, where my help at? Can't afford to have a nigga here. But y'all said, I know, but you making more money though now. Like, we gave you 40%, right? So you making more, right?
Yeah, but not gonna do a lot.
I guess so.
But you know, it's funny that you talk about this because I feel like that's the biggest thing about companies who don't really unionize. They tend to try to propaganda you to make you think how bad a union is bad for you. They, you know how I'm saying, you get that, you go into orientation and they just like, don't think about that union shit. You don't need it. This and this and this. We do it all of this and this and this and this. And so they're just trying to like tailor you so that's like, don't do it, bro. Like, y'all don't even need to do it. This is not the way to go. Don't do unions. That's stupid.
Bro, you ain't ever lied. When I was managing Macy's, one of the first videos that they had was a video about unions in Macy's. Mm-hmm. It's like, yo, don't do the, in the training Dell. It's like, the training is all super shady. Dude is like, hey, you want to pay me more money out of your check so we can make your job like communist Germany? Yeah. Like, what? It's just like, your boss is really Hitler. We can make your job easier. And it's like, no, I want to fall for a union. Like, it's just hella comical, right? And this young cat was there. And I was like, that's interesting. I found out that the San Francisco store, I don't know if it's still open, they may have closed the store, who knows? The union store, they ain't closed that store. They closed everything in the Bay Area. That union store particularly is unionized. That one store in Macy's. And this young cat I got hired was like, yeah, man, I would never go work at the San Francisco store because they got a union over there, man. You know how that go. And in my mind, he's like, I heard it's just super hard to fire people. And the thing is, he was like 20 something, right? I'm like 30 something at the time. I'm like, bro, these retail people, they be getting fired at cause just off of beef with managers. Yeah. So just having like a rule and a method to fire somebody, there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to document this shit as to why you're firing somebody. But because he watched the training and was all super gassed up with a battery in his back, like unions are Nazi Germany, like that type of shit. It's like he sucked into training, but I've been through all this. Like, I've seen units, I've seen non-unions, I've seen managers haul off and fire people off rip. I've seen people go through procedures to get someone out that wanted to quit but couldn't quit, so they had to like go through all the paperwork to manage them out, if you will. And it's wild about that training shit because they really be in the training like, if you hear about a union, make sure you tell massa.
The whole video you gotta watch is a slave to come back. Master, I heard they trying to riot over there. They trying to come together, masters, and they trying to get.
That's the whole video. It's just Jamie Foxx from there on a bad haircut. Master, I was days over there trying to Or what's Samuel L. Jackson's name on Django?
Oh, I can't forget. I
Forget
forget it.
his name,
I
but
just know
it's him running around. I think it's Leonard. It's him running like
I,
that Jamie Foxx over there tries to get us to unionize, Mister Sugar. Goddamn devil.
but I do think, the one benefit that people miss out on about unions, even if you are working for a company that's not really unionized, is how beneficial a union can be for that company because of the fact that a private company or a company that's not unionized, right? If they see that what are unions doing, they immediately try to give those benefits off the rip. So this way they still got the control. So they may be like, oh, well, yeah, you could work for us. Yeah, we no unions over here, but we'll give you all these good benefits. We even pay for your benefits. We'll do everything. But if we just feel like firing you, we could fire you. So you don't got that same protection. You don't have that same kind of like that same person to fill in like that spokesman role for you. You don't have
Right.
that for you at that moment. So a lot of times they try to off mad give you that now, like give you this, give you that. So it does help out. It already helps for the pay raise because certain things like even when we look at the fast food industry now, where their pay raise has been bumped up. I
Yeah.
think now they're able to make
California fast food places that have more than 6,000 that have more than 600 locations within the U.S. got to pay at least $20 in California.
So that helps. But that then again, like I said, like we joked about it last week. I think we spoke about this, but reality is that bumps up jobs for people who don't work in fast food now.
Yeah.
Even though they might not have a union, just because of the perception of this, like, okay, well, you're working there, like you can make this much money as a union, and now you know that the union is going to fight for them.
Yeah.
So now jobs are more prone to have to like give those benefits and incentives all right off the bat.
It's also review trip. It's also on the other end of that, it's exposure too. Well, it's exposing, right? So it exposes you to a sense where, we talked about this last week, where McDonald's paying 20 now, so I got to make more because I only make 16.
Yeah,
nigga, do you? Well, yeah, because they make that. My job is harder than theirs. Is it?
Right now,
is it?
You should union.
You can go over there if you want. No, I want to go flip burgers. Exactly. So it's not. I think for some people, it's going as far as like the cost of living goes, and for certain situations, like McDonald's employees are making 20 an hour. That's 40,000 a year. So you can't. There's certain jobs that pay 40K right now where it's like, yo, if we want the best people, we can't pay 47,000. Yeah. Like we wilding right now. We can't pay 50,000 right now with this particular role. So to your point, you're right. I think in some cases where the argument I hear, the criticism to some of the UAW workers, people call them like some of them are unskilled workers or unskilled jobs or whatever. And some of those dudes like, no, I'm a skilled worker. Like I have a trade. I'm a skilled tradesman. I'll do the HVAC in there. Okay, bet. But some people in there, you've been in warehouses before. Some people in there, you just doing like a work.
Yeah.
Job. Like you working really hard. I feel you working real hard.
Got your earphones on, everything.
The dude at the Warrior game who dive on the floor and wipe the sweat off the floor.
That's hard work.
Working real hard. He ain't Steph Curry though.
Right.
They can get another one of those dudes and it will be fine. I think that's kind of where part of that misconceptions comes in. However, I'm completely of the belief that those people about to get their bread. Dell, I got a question for you though, man. One thing I wanted to ask you was, I think you had mentioned this offline maybe, and I was confused about it when I first heard it, but Foil Hat Woke Dell may have to wake us up right now. It was a thing going on, the UA workers, Ford, they were trying to, Sean Fain, the leader of the union, was trying to come to an agreement with Ford saying they want the right to strike over closed plants. Yeah. Like if they're going to close a plant, they want to be able to strike over a closed plant. And in my mind, I'm thinking, bro, why would they need to strike over a closed plant? Like if the company need to close a plant, they just need to close it. Like I don't understand why someone want to strike over that. But you had mentioned, I think you may have an idea as to why that might be important.
Yeah. Well, I think that's because like when companies, because everything for a corporation is bad when you start to unionize, because now you got people coming to speak to you talking about raises. All of a sudden, you literally are following the guidelines of what now you feel like I'm a boss, but I got to follow the guidelines of what my employees want. So the way you get rid of the union, if once they start talking about union chatter, Like union chatter starts going around, like, man, we should unionize. We should do this. We should do that. They think about closing those branches, especially if you already have. If you're a franchise, you're going to start. Oh, let's move it over here. Then we don't need to keep that. We'll close that one down. Say that it's for other reasons. Health inspection reasons. It wasn't passing this. You know what? The actual crime rate around this particular store is super bad. We were thinking about our customers. You got to put it into the perspective that makes the people that are not a part of that union real make it feel like, well, they're doing it for the right reason. That's stupid. So that for them to convince you and say, well, they should just close it down. They should close down this store because you're an outsider looking in. You're not in a union rep where it's like, no, we just started talking about union talk and now they want to close this down because that's how it may be on the inside trade of it. And that's what a lot of big corporations do because it's not beneficial for the corporation at all for anyone to unionize. You think of Starbucks. Starbucks is a company, right, who don't really have a unionized. I think they could do semi, but I think at one point they didn't really have a union.
Right.
And when they didn't have a union, the moment that a branch would even start talking about union, they would start closing those particular Starbucks down. They were the ones who kind of came out with that tough propaganda of like, hey, let's shut down even union, the concept of manifesting the union by just talking about how bad the union is off the rip. So that's why it's like, oh, let's give you tips. Let's do this. Let's do this. We try to do everything that we can, but you might get shit on at work. You might have hard shifts. You might have this. You might have that. So you dealing with a line like your family. We need to unionize this shit.
So would you say, bro, like that kind of got me thinking, dog. So would you say, so just recently, I don't know if you heard about this, but couple days ago, they announced that Target is going to be closing 9 stores, and all 9 of the stores they're closing are in blue states. So we got, I believe, Minnesota, a couple in Portland, Oregon, or whatever, and then the one in Oakland, the one that's under the apartment building on Broadway, and then 3 in San Francisco. So, right. and from what I gather, Target, because of what's happening, because of what's happening, like people find out the fast food workers have a union, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't know. Till they got the money, till they want to strike. And then people see other people unionize. It's only a matter of time before retail workers collectively have like their own union. So I want to ask you, bro, like, do you think like maybe Target saw someone's like, hey man, you know what, feel me? Let's just say that we close these stores because we getting breaded. But if they unionize plus theft, it's going to be a problem. Because they say it's because of theft. They say it's because of theft. People walking out. They was interviewing Oakland residents, and one lady was crying because she's like, I work here and I shop here, and then people keep stealing what I'm finna do. But you saying it might be a little bit deeper than that. It might be deeper than theft, is what you're saying?
I think it could be deeper than theft. I think it definitely could be like, yo, we have to unionize. We have to unionize. It could be talks of that. And you use what? Like, because your whole thing is trying to play the public. As a corporation, the union has already won over the public. This is why you're seeing so many unions winning right now. Unions are winning. And this is, if you were to unionize right now, this is the perfect time to unionize. Because right now you're seeing everyone's winning. Everyone's getting paid out. Everyone's winning. Everyone's getting exactly what they want because service is needed. So if I'm Target, and I'm starting to think like, bro, we were in a crappy ass neighborhood. We wearing the same ass uniform, bro. It's the same ass shit. Boy, we in here getting talked to disrespectful.
And they might close our store.
And not only that store that they built, the one you're talking about, like the one I know specifically about Oakland, it's probably one of the best locations. One is like, you know what I mean? Like it's a nice ass location. It's right underneath the roof. It's a apartment building. It's
a brand new apartment building.
A brand new apartment building. There is a lot of crime rate, mostly unhoused crime rate, but at the same time, it's like it's a needed store. So you're taking it out of the community. You're like, oh, okay, you know what? Pull that store, pull it, because most of the people that you're probably going to get there are either going to be more people who happen to be able to afford that price range. So a lot of people you're going to get there, especially underneath, you already got the apartment building. So you already got that particular clientele. The apartment itself has to be 3,000 and up. Right. For a one bedroom. So you already know these people got money. So then you already know that's already a good clientele. So you're getting mostly affluent clientele that's going to want to come down there. People going there because they just traveled to Oakland and they want to go into a Target and grab something real quick. People that are coming from hotels that need to go to a Target and find something real quick. They're restaurants, everything. You're getting all of that particularly. So closing it seems stupid. But if
It
you put,
does.
yeah, but if you put it like it's a bunch of targets you can close. It's a bunch of raggedy ass areas of targets. But them niggas probably ain't gonna unionize because they just happy to have a job because they put in workforce in an area where it's probably lacking potential good jobs that are close by to your home area. So a lot of that comes into a factor.
That's a hustle. That's a hustle. Because I mean, the thing is, we lived over there.
Yeah.
So we lived over there.
When it was crash
The nearest store was the liquor store,
and grocery outlet.
and then my grocery outlet because you didn't rock
yours.
with it.
I wasn't.
My
now they got a
grocery outlet.
Sprouts.
Now they got a Sprouts over there, but
And a Chipotle.
Target ain't Sprouts though.
Exactly.
So like, if you want to get, if you want to get your toiletries on, and you know what you particularly want, you can go to grocery outlet and get toiletries, but sometimes they're not gonna have what you. Sometimes, no, nod your head, bro. Sometimes grocery outlet ain't gonna have what you want. Like sometimes they got Old Spice, like Wolf Norn, the sexy like smells, and sometimes they just got stick. It's just called stick. You can't.
I went there trying to get some coffee, but like one time I went there, I was like, I'm going here because I got a grocery outlet down the street from the house. I feel like I'm always by a grocery outlet.
That one's hell, bro. Bro,
that's raggedy. That was raggedy.
That one sucks.
Hey, they getting better though. I will say this: like you ain't been in a while, but they actually.
I've been in that one like a year and a half.
So you come down, whenever you come down, come check it out because they actually trying. It looks like they got some different kind of like they remodeling. They putting like the grocery, they putting like the produce a little bit closer up. They trying to make sure it has fresh produce. Okay. Like they trying. But I will say a while back when I first moved back here, I went in and I was like, I need to get some coffee. But I was like, I don't want to drive all the way to Target because Target's like about 7 miles. And I was just like, nah, I'm gonna go here. It's right around the corner.
You live right by there.
Exactly. So I'm like, I'm gonna go run in here. I go in there, bro. I was disappointed as hell. The coffee beans that I bought there, bro, they still down there because I just ain't even used them. Because it was like, bro, I'm not even like my wife was just disappointed. She know how she is with coffee, so she just extra disappointed. Like, you bought this? Why? Why'd you get this big ass? Why'd you get the bag so big? The bag is humongous, so you never get rid of it. It's like it ain't. It's just there.
Nah, bro. Nah, like that's a Vallejo problem. That's not the grocery outlet problem. It's because y'all don't have enough coffee drinkers there. So it's the problem.
Coffee drinkers. Everybody walking around drinking coffee.
It's the problem with the city, man. It's the problem with the city.
All I have my unhoused people doing is, hey, bro, you got a few dollars so I get some coffee. That's
and then the cool part is the competition. The competition's hustled anyway because the grocery outlet is right here, and then in the parking lot of that grocery outlet, there's a drive-through coffee place. So grocery outlet's like, bro, we can't compete with them in Jack in the Box.
It's across the street. Yeah.
Why would we carry coffee if you could buy it through the drive-through? We're not gonna carry that. And they probably bought us like, we finna get on. We got these big bags, and then since you've been the only one that bought once they got the whole shipment because they've been just chilling on them like, bro, we can't sell no more coffee.
Right.
So
you right.
I think that in my eyes, I think you're right, bro. They probably may have closed it on some shady stuff because. From what I gathered from one of the people that were interviewed, the lady, one of the councilwomen, she was like, yo, we fought really hard to get this Target here. He said we had to be at the rally and invite them and tell them the building was going to be lit. Because that Target, y'all, for those of y'all listening, that Target's less than 5 years old. It's not like it's not a legacy Target that been open on the block. No, they just opened it because the building is brand new. So it just sucks that's happened. But listen, if y'all want to hear more of this union stuff, let us know and we'll cover it some more. Also, hop on YouTube because this going down, bro. And listen, don't be somebody that don't know about this because it's embarrassing to not know that ain't no cars being made in America. It's embarrassing. So don't be one of those people like, what is happening outside? How come? Don't be one of those.
What's gonna happen is they're gonna start seeing all of these new cars that are coming out from all these different countries, like that Riva. Have you seen that car? That truck. I ain't gonna lie, that's kind of tight. But the way they coming out with these newer cars, all of a sudden we just gonna be looking like Europe out here, and then niggas gonna be like, "Bro, whatever happened to American-made cars? Like, remember when people used to drive Fords? What's all these Tacomas and shit doing out here?"
Hella Tacomas. Niggas be like, Tacoma ain't American-made? No, nigga, that's Toyota. Tacoma American. Shut up.
Yeah, it's an American name.
But Tacoma is a city in Washington. Yeah, bro, but it's made by Toyota. No, that's American.
Hella Kias.
It's gonna be Kia my sister name, bro. Yeah. That's a foreign car. Listen, man, you guys have been incredible. You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're here with us. We appreciate that. Drink water and pay attention.
Hey, man, you made it this far right now. Make sure you like, subscribe, and of course, give us a comment. Your thoughts is always important, and we love to talk about it in the comment section. However, man, if just know, man, you made it this far. We here at the Dell and Ryan Report really, 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 really fuck with you. Till next time. Peace.